Hello and welcome to the Heat Check Podcast, Miami Herald's Miami Heat Podcast. I'm David Wilson, and I'm joined, as always, on the other line by Anthony Chang, our Heat beat writer here at the Herald. Anthony, it is almost midnight. You are up in Philly. The Heat loses a heartbreaker to the Sixers in the 7-8 play-in game. Jimmy Butler is hurt. A very chaotic night up in the city of brotherly love. What do you make of it all?
I kind of feel like it's just the story of the Heat season.
Yeah.
Like the defense was dominant in the first half. It wasn't as good in the second half. Sixers found some counters to the zone. The zone really disrupted Philly in that first half. I think forced like 12 turnovers. They were shooting like 33% from the field. They scored 39 points in the first half and then scored 66 points in the second half. So they obviously found some counters.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Batum got hot and hit threes.
Nick Batum, didn't even realize he was in the league. I know he's actually been good for Philly. This pretty good since Philly got him this year, but
he was huge for them today. Not only a block shot late, 2 offensive rebounds, 6 of 10 on threes. So the defense was good enough. Even though the second half Philly did score some points. Like you look overall, defensive rating, a good defensive performance. The offense continues to be bad. Like even that first half when the Heat held them to 39 points, they should have been up by 20, 25 points. They're only up by 12 at halftime. So the offense was getting an issue, and then obviously injuries. You said it there, Jimmy. Now you're already without Terry Rozier. Duncan was available today, but he did not play, which kind of shows you that he's not ready to play yet, right?
Yeah.
If he didn't play, because they could have used him in his shooting. Now you face the possibility on Friday of playing a must-win game. Not only without Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson, but also with Jimmy Butler, your best player. We'll see, right, what the MRI shows on Thursday. We spoke to him after the game, and he said, right now it's tough for him to move around, and it really limited him as the game went on.
Yeah.
I even asked him, did you feel like you should have finished the game? And he said, I thought the adrenaline would kick in and I would be fine, but it never did. He said he felt like it hurt the team more than he helped.
Yeah, he had the steal with about the steal and score with, I don't know, what was that, 6 minutes left. And after that play, he was really, really grimacing, really gimpy after that.
Kept grabbing at the knee too.
Yeah, and from there, I don't know, he was, I don't want to say non-existent because he's, still has the ball in his hands and it's still, his defense was still, for the most part pretty good. But, that's how many times over the last few years that steal and score would kind of kickstart the closeout Jimmy. That would be the time where you're like, all right. Those two plus Tyler Hero were your 3 best creators, and Terry Rozier obviously wasn't playing. Jimmy was not his usual self, and you kind of felt the options run out where it was a lot of Tyler Hero.
Tyler Bam, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Bam, and then basically can Jaime Jaquez or Kevin Love get a open 3 and knock it down. The options became limited pretty fast, and the difference, I think, when you talk watching the Sixers, and this is obviously kind of the closest I've thought about the Sixers all year, and their roster is kind of it's basically Joel Embiid's obviously the second best player in the league, maybe Tyrese Maxey's an all-star, and then after that they don't have a clear number 3, but the difference was that Nicholas Batum kind of came out of nowhere in the second half and became that number 3 for them, where the Heat felt like they ran out of options. The Sixers kind of had a third one materialize out of nowhere.
Team when your best player is, Jimmy Butler has 19 points on 5 of 18 shooting, and then Tyler Hero, you consider probably your best most natural scorer, has 25 points on 9 of 27 shooting. That's just not.
Yeah.
That puts too much pressure on your defense, and that's been the story of the Heat season all year, right? The defense has to. They have a very small margin for error. The defense has to be great. Great for them to overcome, for the most part, their offensive struggles. So they'll have a game here or there where they make 18 threes and then they'll score some points. But for the most part, when they face a good defense, like it's tough for them to score, especially like you said without Terry. And Duncan, I know he's not like an on-ball creator,
right,
but he's a
one of
big
your
trigger
best
for this
scorers,
offense.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a big trigger. Him and those dribble handoffs with Bam are a big part of the offense, and him not there to create that gravity, create that space, that's a big loss as well. So again, they've dealt with injuries all season, fifth most missed games due to injuries, and it's just continuing. Unfortunately, it might Boston, we're going to point to injuries and the offensive struggles is what did them in. So, and that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, Butler, we can't. I don't think we can say they're doomed against Chicago. Chicago won 39 games this year. Like, the Heat will be favored. That game not quite over yet, but the Bulls up 20 with 10 minutes left. So it looks like it'll be Miami, Chicago. Miami will be favored in that game even without Jimmy Butler. So we'll see if they take care of business in that on Friday night. But I guess quickly, the Jimmy Butler, we don't have to go too much on just like the news here because obviously we're kind of know a lot more, I don't know, 12 hours from or 24 hours from now probably. But what is just like the early word there? And like either way, even if he plays, he does seem to be pretty seriously compromised right now.
Yeah, we were in the locker room and he was pretty bulky protective sleeve on his knee, was limping around. Could tell he was down. From what I've heard, the initial read is that it's a knee sprain. Obviously, that could be many things. That it'll probably be day to day. But honestly, like I would not take anything or any information right now without the MRI. Like the MRI is gonna reveal what it truly is. We don't know. Everything right now is just guessing. The fact that he was able to finish the game and play 40 minutes, I guess, is like somewhat encouraging. I know he was obviously very limited, but it was a really bad knee injury. Wouldn't have been able to play 40 minutes. So you hope it's like a sprain, which even a sprain, like probably won't play Friday, I'm assuming, right? I mean, it's 2 days. It's 2 days.
Yeah, that's quick turnaround. After playing 40 minutes on it, especially, like...
Yeah, it's hard to expect him to play Friday. And if they win Friday, you have another quick turnaround Sunday at 1 p.m. in Boston. It was already going to be really tough against Boston. If you don't have Jimmy for the start of that series, I mean, I don't.
Hey, you just got to win 4. It doesn't matter when they happen.
So you're saying that they're going to come back from an 0-2 series deficit and win 4 straight?
We've seen crazier things.
That would be something. What was Spo's quote today? He said, I think I tweeted it. He said, we will do this the hard way. This just has to be the path right now. I think he said the same thing last year.
Yeah, how many times? Seriously, yeah.
They did it, and it's going to be Heat Bulls again.
I know.
That elimination game. It's like.
Are you getting deja vu?
A little bit of deja vu. And I think they flew the next day to Milwaukee and had an early game in Milwaukee on Sunday as well. Same thing as what it would be in Boston. Where you fly, like no shoot around, no practice, have no time, just turn the page. And they won in Milwaukee that day, which nobody expected. So you can't rule this team out. Even tonight, like honestly did not think they would win tonight. Philly's been playing so well, and the Heat have, they're missing Rozier and Duncan. But they probably should have won.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really touched on that, but the Heat kind of blew it tonight. They were up, what was it, 12 at halftime?
14 in the first half, 12 at halftime. 13 in the third quarter at some point.
And as you noted right before we started recording, I guess it's kind of a playoff game. I don't know, but it felt like a playoff game, as you said. You could kind of tell both teams knew what was on the line. The idea of not facing Boston, the Knicks are good, obviously, but there's such a drop-off between Boston and New York. And you never want to get too confident, but you could feel the kind of the stakes tonight. And Miami, I guess, like above all, like the in some ways, like the Jimmy Butler injury and the excitement of the fourth quarter of this game are going to kind of overshadow the fact that, like you said, he probably should have won this game. The way they started, they led for like basically the entire first half. Were in control. Like you said, led by 14. I know that's not like a blowout in the modern NBA, but pretty significant lead, and it was gone by the end of the third quarter, basically.
Yeah, they carried the lead in the all third quarter too. I mean,
Yeah, but
Philly
it was
came
down to
back
what,
and cut
2 by
like
the end of the
2,
fourth, I
4,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Philly finally took the lead early in the fourth, and it was back and forth until that final minute when Sixers kind of pulled away. But yeah, I mean that first half was like a master class from Spo on defense. Like his defensive game plan was perfect. That zone, I don't know, the Sixers had success against it a few weeks ago in Miami, and he's known to kind of adjust the zone based on the opponent or based on the game plan of an opponent, and he had them all confused. Again, 12. I mean, just look at the 12 turnovers. Like they were like seeing ghosts out there. They were passing up open looks. They were passing out of bounds. They didn't know what to do. And again, they found some answers in the second half. But you hold a team to 39 points in today's NBA in a half, you should win that game. And they didn't. And now they're faced with an elimination game. It's probably the Bulls if this score holds. And then best case scenario, you face Boston in the first round.
Yeah.
Have fun. Enjoy that. Boston has been a buzzsaw this year, and it's just tough, especially with the Heat's health right now, to think that that's going to be, a series that Heat fans will enjoy at this point if the Heat get there. So it's just a tough night because, again, like you said, they were so close to getting this really, really good win and then setting up a really fun series against the Knicks. But now we're talking about Jimmy's knee and best case scenario first round series against the Celtics.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of things that were like the story of the Heat season, kind of all boiled into one game tonight. But that thin margin for error that we've talked about a lot because of their offense, like that was ultimately what you felt most tonight, right? Where you could play basically a perfect first half, and because the Heat have in every game, sometimes it's only 5 minutes, sometimes it's 10 minutes or a full quarter. Basically 10 minutes tonight in the third quarter, where the offense is just kind of not functional for a long stretch of time, and they let the Sixers back in the game there. Like we said, they obviously led going into the fourth, but that 12-point lead was gone pretty quickly because I think the Heat they finished I think 23 points in the third quarter, but hit 2 threes late, like for a while. It was like
17 points.
So basically 10 minutes of that quarter were as ugly as you'll see, playoff basketball on the offensive end.
Yeah, it's just been nothing is easy for this team. It's not just this season. It was last year too. They found a way to get to the finals. The theme has continued this year. They're in the same exact spot as they were last year. Everything is hard, whether it's because of injuries, whether it's because of the offense. They have to grind out games to win, right? That's like their best path is like grinding out these games and making them like in the mud, as Spo would say, 98 to 96. That's what the Heat wants. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do in this, in today's league. So, again, we'll see what they have left on Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, all eyes are going to be on Jimmy Butler and the MRI results and the injury report. That's gonna determine a lot. I mean, I think, like you said, I think the Heat would probably still be favored.
I think so.
Jimmy can't play, but it's gonna be a very small line.
Maybe
like a point or two, just because they're at home. Because if you're missing Terry, that's a lot of firepower.
That's a lot of firepower. Yeah. What do you think happened? The fourth quarter, the Heat gives up 36 points. Felt like basically they could not get a stop down the stretch. What do you think happened to the defense there? Because obviously, and Philly is a much, much better team than Chicago. But if Jimmy doesn't play, then the defense is going to have to be, I don't know, darn near perfect on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it too is just like you said, the 3-pointers, 4 of 8 on threes, and then there were a few possessions where like they made some bailout shots too. Like I even asked Spo about the defense, and he's like, it would have looked a lot different. Like a lot of times they made something out of nothing. Like it was like last second, a couple seconds left in the shot clock.
How many threes did Batum hit?
He had 5
6
threes
for 10. Yeah.
5 in the second half though.
Yeah.
And then there were 3 offensive rebounds too, kind of important offensive rebounds late in the game that kept some possessions alive for Philly that they capitalized on. I think they had 8 second chance points. So 8 second chance points on 3 offensive rebounds, like that's
tough.
Those are big ones. So I don't think the defense was terrible. I just think really start hitting shots. Like they're a
Yeah.
good offensive team. It's going to happen. There were some loose balls that they got to, and it's really hard to set your defense when you're off when you're not making shots, right? Like that, it kind of feeds into each other. If the offense was scoring more, it would have given the Heat defense, a little more opportunity to set up and probably be a little better. But you can only do so much on defensive end when your own shots aren't going in.
Mm-hmm. All right, Anthony. I know you got to finish up writing, but any final thoughts before we get out of here and get ready for Friday night?
I don't know if you noticed this on the television, but Caleb Martin missed 2 free throws.
Oh yeah.
In the third, and the crowd got chicken.
Yeah, they went crazy.
And after that, everything changed. I think that changed the momentum.
The foul shots. Right. That's I don't know if that's what they call it there. Foul shots. I remember that's what they would call them in DC.
That's pretty clever. I'm kind of kidding, but like it kind of really changed because after that, I want to look and see. It might take too much time, but like I think Philly hit like a 3 the next possession, and then they scored like 6 straight points to cut like a 13 or a 12-point lead to like 6 in like a couple minutes after that. So, and like the crowd was going crazy because they got free chicken, sandwiches.
Yeah, okay. I found it on the game log. It was with 6:57 left. Caleb Martin missed 2 free throws. The Heat were up 59-48. And then Batum hit a 3. Buddy Hield hit a shot. And then Buddy hit a 3. And it went from 59-48 to 59-56 in 1 minute and 15 seconds. So momentum swung. Your free throws matter.
Forget your injury. That is the story of the game.
You don't even need the points. You just needed them not to be excited about chicken. Although you could have used those 2 points, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, that would have made a difference. But yeah, kind of joking, but like it really, when I was in the arena, I kind of felt them when shit. That's gonna get those 2 free throws, and then they came back and hit a 3. I'm like, oh god, and they just kept going, and everything changed from there. So who knows if Caleb only makes 1 free throw, how that would have changed the complexion of the Heat season.
All right, well, Anthony, go enjoy your free Chick-fil-A sandwich for breakfast tomorrow morning on your way to the airport. You can follow Anthony on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. You can follow me on Twitter at DBWilson2. Mini episode tonight because it's late at night. Maybe we'll figure out. We'll see what happens Friday. This season ends then, or we'll maybe figure something out to get us back here quick. But if we head up to Boston, or if you head up to Boston,
we'll take the show to Boston. We'll take the show to Boston.
Exactly. Then we'll have lots to talk about next week. So, thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.